The 3 best serums from The Ordinary for fine lines and wrinkles. Now, fine lines and wrinkles are really hard to treat. As a medical esthetician who works with other people who struggle with skin all the time, I'm constantly hearing 2 things. Number 1, people who have fine lines and wrinkles are like, how do I get rid of them? And people who don't have them are like, how do I prevent them? And again, aging is a privilege. Not everybody gets to do it. But if you do want to fight fine lines and wrinkles, there are different ways to approach that. In order to understand what's going to work best for fine lines and wrinkles, we need to understand the anatomy of the skin and why these fine lines and wrinkles form. But there are 3 over-the-counter options from The Ordinary that, while they are not Botox in a bottle, and they are not the exact same thing as getting a facelift or going in for tweakments or under the knife, these can help, and most of these are under 10 to 15 bucks, and they are something that are staples in what I use on myself and recommend to others. And we're gonna talk about the science of why. So let's start off talking about wrinkles. I want you to think of your face like a piece of paper. Damn, you're a fine looking piece of paper. Put you in a binder. I want you to imagine taking that fine piece of paper and folding it over and opening it up. Then after a couple of times, I want you to try to smooth out that crease. No matter how hard you try to smooth out that crease in that paper, there's always gonna be a little bit of a line left over. And that's essentially what a wrinkle is. You see, our skin and all of its beauty and its magnificence, it sits on top of our muscles. It sits on top of our bones and the rest of our bodies. And our bones help us animate. They help us make faces and do reaction video thumbnails, right? And express our emotions, our anger, our fear, our joy. But unfortunately, if the skin on top of our muscles is constantly being moved and it's folding like a piece of paper in those same wrinkles in our 11 lines on our forehead, by our smiles, etc., you can bet that we can try to smooth those out as much as we want, but they're pretty much always going to leave behind a crease. So when it comes to wrinkles, prevention is easier than treatment, but there are a couple things you can do. Now, if you really want to get the most bang for your buck, get yourself some prescription retinoids. You can go get some laser, some CO2. You can go in for medical procedures. You got options. But if you're looking for stuff that's over the counter that you can use every day, there are some ingredients that have medical data, science on how these work with your skin, and even have some double-blind, placebo-controlled medical studies if that's your kind of thing. Because baby, it's my kind of thing, and if that's your thing and that's my thing, then maybe you're my thing, or I'm your thing. Thing 1 or thing 2? That's the real question. Let's start off with one of the most controversial ingredients. This little guy is called Botox in a bottle, and it is Argireline. Now, what the f is Argireline, you ask? And is it going to give me the look of Botox? No, but also maybe. So Argireline is obviously not as tested or as well studied as retinoids. However, Argireline is a peptide. It's basically a building block that makes up proteins that is a piece of what Botox is. Now, Botox is interesting. It's actually what's called a neuromodulator. Literally one of the most dangerous substances on earth because it paralyzes your muscles. It could kill you. Yet we willingly inject it into faces? Figure that. Well, the reason people go in for Botox injections is because Botox or any other neuromodulator like Dysport or Xeomin literally paralyzes your facial muscles. And if we paralyze our muscles, we can't move them. And remember, if our muscles can't move or wrinkle underneath our skin, then our skin can't create those creases and those lines, right? Correct. So Botox or neuromodulators are very preventative. If you've already got wrinkles, you're better off using retinoids or hydrating those wrinkles to try to plump them back up and remodel those wrinkles from the deep layers up. But if you're looking to prevent fine lines and wrinkles, Botox injections are an option, or Argireline is literally a topical form of a small snippet of this that actually goes onto the skin and works in that same junction, specifically the neuromuscular junction. You see, the way that our muscles and our bodies send signals is through these tiny little spaces that literally look like 2 fists about to fist pump each other. And there's this little space in between them where chemical reactions happen. And if we have a signal from this side saying, hey, flex this muscle, the neurotransmitter goes into the middle and it says to the other side, hey, flex the muscle. And then that signal gets passed on and the muscle flexes. But if we shove something in the middle that stops that from happening, this side is gonna say, hey, flex the muscle. But this little guy, this Argireline solution, or anything else that inhibits those neurotransmitters from working, that chemical reaction from happening, the other side is like, well, I didn't hear anything. What are you talking about? It's like it's got, you know, earphones in and there's a fire alarm going off. So if that signal can't get through, this muscle never gets flexed. And that's why things like Botox are so impactful. But as a topical solution, Argireline is said to work in a similar way. Now, obviously, something that you put on your skin that is absorbed, even if it does get into into that little neuromuscular junction, it's probably not going to work as well as Botox. And if you don't use it regularly, it's not gonna work. But if this is $10 or $15 versus Botox, it is a couple of hundred. And if you're scared of needles and you don't want to do Botox, and this is an option that doesn't make you do that, hey, if it doesn't work, push comes to shove, you like hydrated your face for like 10 or 15 bucks. And if it does work, maybe you have a serum that's going to be a staple in your routine and helps you prevent wrinkles and fine lines in the long run. Again, it's not Botox in a bottle, even though people claim it is. It's not the same as getting injections, but it is a really good option, especially if you're on a budget, and it's one of my top picks for fine lines and wrinkles, specifically prevention. The second serum that is an absolute staple is a not so magical solution that a lot of people don't know about. This is the Ethylated Ascorbic Acid 15% solution. This is a form of vitamin C that is super special. Now, when people think of vitamin C, they think of how it is brightening, how it helps with hyperpigmentation. But did you know that vitamin C is essential for your skin to be able to produce collagen? It's essential for you to consume in your body so that your entire body can make collagen, but it's also essential in the skin. Now here's the problem. Remember that our skin is literally a barrier. It wants to keep stuff out and keep us, the good stuff, in. Now, if we're trying to get a bunch of products in through our skin barrier is like, no, we don't want you here, even if it's good shit. You know what I mean? So how are we supposed to get stuff through the skin barrier? Well, our skin naturally produces oil, right? If we put on something that is water-based, a little bit might absorb, especially into those outer layers of our skin called the epidermis, but waters and oils repel each other, so it's kind of hard to get in there. Now, if we use oil-based serums or active ingredients that are oil soluble, meaning they mix with oils really well, you can actually use the skin's natural oils to get these ingredients in deeper. Now, on top of that, if you have something like acids, if the pH of the product is right, if the pKa level is correct, you can start to get things to penetrate. And all of that is super fancy, very technical, but you're a skintellectual, so you deserve to know and use that to make good choices for yourself. But if we can find a vitamin C that, unlike many others, isn't just water soluble, but it's oil soluble, we can actually use this to get it super deep into the skin and into the nucleus of the cell, the literal brain hub, the center part of our skin cells, where it needs to be to actually help with collagen production, fine lines, wrinkles, and everything in between. Now, the unfortunate part of this is that it is a little bit oily, but the good part is that it's like $10. Now, I do love a serum. It's called the CCC Ferulic, and it's 180 bucks. And babe, you do not have to spend 180 bucks to get a good vitamin C serum. Is it one of my favorites? Pretty much, yeah. Is it worth it for me? Absolutely. Is it made by a medical doctor? Yes. Do I buy it on sale? All the fucking time. But if you don't want or don't have that kind of money to spend, especially on a vitamin C serum that you don't know if you're gonna like, try this one. This is an oil-soluble version from The Ordinary, and as you can see, it leaves my skin a little bit greasy, but this is an anhydrous solution. An meaning not or without, and hydrous, think of water, hydration. So this is a no water solution, fragrance-free, really simple ingredients, and it has this active but stable form of vitamin C. And yes, this can help with brightening, it can help with pigmentation. It works really great under the eyes if you tend to have a little bit of pigmentary issues down here, but this can also help with fine lines and wrinkles if it can get into the skin and help you stimulate that collagen over time. We have these special little skin cells in our faces and the rest of our skin. They're called fibroblasts, and they are a blast to hang out with. But these little cells are responsible for creating collagen, the strong stuff, elastin, the stretchy stuff, and they're even responsible for our own bodies creating hyaluronic acid. Did you know that your body creates hyaluronic acid? Yeah, it does, baby. Of course, you can add more of it topically, but you're already making it thanks to your fibroblasts. So if we can get those fibroblasts to make a couple more skin cells, yeah, you bet it's gonna work. And this vitamin C, being oil soluble, is a great way to do so. Again, this is the ethylated ascorbic acid at 15%, so 15% it is pretty potent, but this soaks in so well, and this is a great choice for anybody who wants to build collagen topically, especially with something they can use during the day. Now, the reason I say during the day is because vitamin C is perfect to put on in the morning. But if you have a retinoid, whether it's prescription strength or if it's this one, retinoids are degraded by sunlight, so you usually want to use them in the evening. This is a special little retinoid because this is called the Granactive retinoid. And being Granactive, The Ordinary says that it's more stable, that it's a little bit more light stable, you could use it during the day, and that it's a better, more advanced version. All trans retinoic acid, aka the prescription stuff, is still the gold standard, but if you are looking for one of the best Ordinary solutions, this is one of my favorites. I also love this for acne-prone skin because of the way it works, but if you're looking for a non-prescription form of the strong stuff, your skin literally takes this and transforms it using different conversion steps to equal what the prescription is giving you. Retinoic acid is the prescription stuff. It's what's actually made naturally in our bodies, specifically in our eyeballs, fun fact. But it is prescription only and it can be a little bit irritating. This formula is much more gentle, but it's not nearly as irritating. And as you can see, it just soaks into skin so beautifully. It's kind of like this creamy texture, this really nice creamy formula. And this goes through multiple conversion steps. Your skin takes this and turns it into retinol, then retinal, then it turns into retinoic acid, aka the strong stuff. And because there's so many conversion steps, it's not as irritating or as potent as the prescription stuff, but it's a great option for over the counter. It's inexpensive, and yes, it can help with fine lines and wrinkles. Because of the way retinoids work, they literally plump up the layers deep in your skin. They do make the top ones exfoliate off first. You might go through a period of retinization. We've actually done an entire video on that if you want to see it. But this works deep down in the skin to literally plump up those beautiful juicy skin cells, stimulating those fibroblasts, getting them to produce more collagen and elastin to literally help plump up your skin and actually help with those fine lines and wrinkles. If you're looking for fine line and wrinkle care, retinoids are your best bet. Retinoid is an umbrella term. There are many things in this vitamin A family. The Granactive retinoid is one of them, and this one is fantastic for fine lines and wrinkles in skin. If you are struggling with wrinkles and you do want something prescription, we literally have a video on that. But these three are medical SD besties that yes, I'm using on my own skin and that I recommend to others all the time. Now, The Ordinary does have some other really good products for mature and aging skin, like the Pycnogenol, the EUK, the Buffet, the copper peptides. Babe, if you want to plump, we've got a video on that too. I'll leave these tagged right here if you do want to read the ingredients, turn and learn them with me, since you now understand how they work. And I will always leave you with a reminder to stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Reapply that SPF because none of these things matter if you're not reapplying your sunscreen and preventing fine lines, wrinkles, damage, pigmentation, and skin cancer in the long run. We know this by now. And if you're not, have you subscribed? You are welcome to. Welcome to the family. If you haven't, goodbye. I'll see you on the internet. And always remember to be beautiful both inside and out. I love you, you beautiful, magical motherfucking piece of paper, and I can't wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.